We are back. We're back. Welcome to the Strategic Shift, Season 1. Very excited. I am one of your hosts, Priscilla Scott.
I'm Diane, Desio.
And today we're going to talk about like a really, really, really cool topic that is on everybody's mind. And it's the world of AI.
AI. It's a lifesaver for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, how long has it been out now? AI? ChatGPT, we'll say.
It's been about 2 years.
2 years? Oh, wow. Yeah. And it's just, I mean, first it was that, and now it's AI everything. There's all kinds of apps that are using AI on their platforms, and it's just, it's like a ball that's just rolling, and you better catch up with it because this is where our world is coming to now.
But I think it's been around longer than a lot of us care to admit, right? Like my Roombas, I do not live without them. For those of you who don't know, it's like the robotic vacuum, right? It vacuums when I'm not home.
Oh, I don't know one. You love it?
Oh, it'll change your world. Affiliate link incoming because I have two. I have one upstairs, one downstairs, and they're programmed to go when I'm not home. So I come home and all the sweeping is done. All I have to do is mop.
That's awesome.
It's so much easier. And I remember the first time that I ran it, the amount of dirt and dust, I was like, did I not sweep correctly? Like it's that. And then in your car, you're driving and you hear the because there's like a car next to you. And and if you start to go over the line, it like brings you right back. Like my car is older than ChatGPT.
Yeah.
It's still.
No, or Google. I mean, you put into Google whatever information and it spits out, Google is definitely somewhat of, an AI, artificial intelligence. I mean,
it's just evolved so differently, right? Like if you think about a car in like the 50s, 60s, you had manual windows and everything was like so mechanical, right? The seats, if you look back, some of those cars didn't even have seats that could go forward and back. And the radio was like, it would just pick up like antenna signal. And as time went on, then you had like cassette players and CD players. And then eventually now you have the whole touch screen. So the same thing goes with like all of these tools that we have online. It's just how we have evolved over time.
yes. So I use ChatGPT because I am not good at wording. That is not one of my specialties. Some people are really good at just the way they word things. I'm not. You know what I mean? Like when I used to go into things of like, I need to write this, my mind would just go blank. Like I would literally, I don't even know where to start. And it has helped me in so many ways. I mean, it's just saved me time. I put what I want to say and it words it for me. And I mean, it's just, man, I think it's an amazing tool if you use it the right way. And you have definitely learned how to use it the right way so far as prompting,
Mm-hmm.
If I was use ChatGPT, I would probably get a different wording than you would because you know how to prompt it better than I do. So explain how you have learned how to prompt the AI.
So there's a lot of different ways. One, AI, the AI models that we use today, they are designed to train themselves. So they get more powerful over time. They start to get to know you, the way that you speak, the way that you trend. Like it is literally studying everything you put into it. So I actually had ChatGPT learn me. And I did this a long time ago. I asked ChatGPT to craft a series of questions. So I even asked it, like, what questions would you need to ask me to get to know me so that the responses that you give me sound like me, align with me, and I receive the information
That's
properly.
amazing. See, I would not have thought about that.
And so ChatGPT gave me a list of like 30 questions. And then I answered each of those. It took me a while because I didn't answer them inside of ChatGPT. I answered them in a Word document and then transferred the information over. But I just data dump, right? However it came out. I didn't even try to like craft it differently. And then it updated its memory so that it knows me. So when I'm working on a project and I give it a response, the prompts that come back, they don't sound like scripted AI.
Right.
They actually do sound like something that I would say because I've trained it to learn me.
So would you suggest when somebody does download ChatGPT to do that first? Before you do anything, should you answer, like figure out, like get to know it or have it get to know you first?
So I've given ChatGPT my resume so that it could study like my background. I have given ChatGPT, like, when you Google your name and things come up, like I've given it some of that because when I first started using ChatGPT, it didn't have the ability to search the internet in that way. And so there is a lot that you can do. And Gemini is the same way. It's just the Google version of it. But if you teach it to learn you, then the responses are a little bit more aligned. And the other thing that is really, so it's a tool, right? It's not a one size fits all thing. So with artificial intelligence, like, my background is business, parks and rec, marketing, social media management, podcasting. If I try to ask ChatGPT to help me write a dissertation on building a car, it wouldn't make any sense to me.
Right.
It could spit out something that's like totally garbage, and I would never in a million years know. So you do have to have some type of knowledge in it so that when you are giving it prompts, you actually know what you're asking it.
Right.
And then you can decipher. I was using it to check when we were doing our financials. I had not by hand, I used Excel to calculate all of our break-even points, and we did a profit analysis and all of that. And then I put it into ChatGPT for the formatting to help it flow into the business plan.
Wow.
And it left out like our initial product cost. It kept that separate from all of our operating costs. And when I looked at it, I'm like, oh, this number is wrong. And so I told ChatGPT, the calculation is incorrect, recalculate it and include this, this, and this. But if I didn't know how to do financial projections,
You wouldn't have known.
I wouldn't have known. I would have printed that out, taken it to a bank, and we would have looked like idiots trying to
Right.
get an SBA.
So it's not all the way perfect. You still have to, spell check it, or not spell check it, but just check it and make sure, because it is spitting out information rather quickly. How long did it take to spit out a business plan with that information?
I mean, less than a minute.
How long does it take before you had ChatGPT to do a business plan?
Not including market research, it'd take me like 2 weeks.
2 weeks. And how long, you said? A couple minutes or a minute? Yeah. So look at that's amazing. So if you don't think that you have the knowledge or you don't have the education to properly do a business plan or whatever, write a letter, write a book. Literally, you could just prompt it to do what you needed to do, and then, of course, go over it. So, and it's free.
It's free.
It's a free tool. Like, why would you not use it? A lot of people are actually scared of it. I've met people that are like, oh no, I'm not going to use it. But then they, it's really up to you. If you want to waste the time or not waste the time, but take the extra time to do things where you don't have to, then by all means go for it. But if you really take advantage of ChatGPT, you will save so much time. It will give you so much more information.
It does. And I will say this, ChatGPT, like that is like the pathway, right? They were the first, and they may not have been the first company, but they were the innovators that captured the majority of the market share and actually did it right. And everybody jumped in, and they paved the way for so much more on the AI spectrum, because now there's AI tools in video, there's AI tools in graphic.
Yeah.
Even some of our traditional tools are now adding in AI. Like, if you have an iPhone now, Siri has the artificial intelligence built into it. So it really transformed
Really,
how
it really is.
how we interact in business.
It's hundreds of companies that use AI now. So like if somebody wanted to start a business and they had an idea, but they didn't have any money, what would you suggest how they would start a business without any money? Like, what could they do? Because I mean, sometimes people just don't have that, but they might have a really good idea. What would you tell them?
Start with research.
Research.
Find a similar company or somebody who's doing something similar. Sometimes ideas are so unique that there isn't anybody else who's already doing it, right? And if not, I would say start with the research. Find someone who's doing it or who's good at it and say, okay, what are they doing? Um, and if you can't invest in tools like Google, Gemini, ChatGPT, those are great sources to start. And maybe not even say, you wouldn't want to come from scratch and say, hey, ChatGPT, write me a business plan for a med spa, right? But if I don't, maybe you start with just asking for an outline, right? You ask it for an outline. What are the components that are going to be needed in a business plan? And then go section by section and just saying, okay, but think about it. Because the other thing in business is, yeah, you could go to Google or ChatGPT. You could even pull up a template, a done for you thing.
Mm-hmm.
The power in growing a business is how you move through the questions because it impacts how you move through business, right? Like in a SWOT analysis, yeah, ChatGPT can tell you what your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, and threats are. You put in a plan and you move away. Well, if you've never read it, you don't know who your competitors are. You don't know where your opportunities lie, how you're going to reach certain markets. You have to be in relationship with the information that's in there.
Yes.
So,
but there is also, like I said, there is a lot of free ways. I mean, you got Printify, where you can do, just make your actual design and, basically just advertise that link, on free social media, so there are tools that you can use to get a business started that doesn't cost anything. If you do have an idea or a catchy idea, definitely research the free tools. I mean, because there are like, for instance, you get a 2-week trial of a certain app. Definitely take advantage of the free stuff because obviously when you're starting a business, it does cost a lot of money to start it. But if you don't have that money, marketing is free. Social media is free. ChatGPT is free. There is a lot of print on demands or, things that you can, what do you call it? Drop shipping, where you don't even have to buy the product. You just have to, have the link and advertise the link. There's also a friend of mine, she was doing TikTok shop where she just built her followers and then she started writing to companies and said, hey, I want to, do a clip about your product. And they would send her free product. And then she would have the link, you know what I mean? So she got all this free product just from, building her followers, which was free on social media.
So I do want to talk about that because one of the things that I do a lot is I do content management and social media management for clients. And a lot of what I start out with is social media, right? And social media platforms are free and we get all of the relevant information. We make sure that the brand is consistent between all of the different channels that they're opening.
Yeah.
We're not going to have like pink graphics on Instagram and then we've got a, teal business in Facebook and then it's black on TikTok. Like there should be some brand consistency throughout.
Yes.
And I do look at putting up graphics and first tapping into their sphere of influence, right? Most people are going to do business with either someone they know or someone that was referred to them by someone they know.
Exactly. Yeah.
So if we start with their sphere of influence and then as their content starts to ramp up, then organically we can find additional followers for them that fit their market demographics.
Yes. And then, I mean, like your phone, it's your camera. You can easily, there's a lot of people that use their phone, but think of like catchy ways of recording things, because if you go viral, it only takes one to go viral, you know, and you could literally blow up overnight off your idea, or, you know, even a certain thing that you say. I mean, you never know what can go viral. But, and then YouTube. Let's talk about YouTube. Free.
Yeah.
Another free tool that you can make money on.
And YouTube is so YouTube is a search engine, right? Everything. I mean, one of the kids in the house was like, I want to learn how to make a grilled cheese sandwich. Went online, figured out how to make it. Next thing, they're like in the kitchen making a grilled cheese sandwich, right? Most of us go to YouTube to solve a problem. And if we treat it that way, like, what problem are you solving, right? What keeps people up late at night? And if you're able to craft videos to help somebody else solve those problems, the more people that have that same problem, the longer you'll go. And then you fall in line with YouTube's policies for monetization, and you can make $50,000 to $100,000 off of that if you do it properly.
Exactly. So, I mean, there are a lot of free tools out there if you don't have the money, but if you have the idea, you know, don't let not having the money stop you from accomplishing or planting the seeds of, you know, getting your idea out there.
Well, and I will say this, an object in motion stays in motion, right? Yeah. That is a scientific fact. And so do something. Do anything, right? Whether it's a graphic or talking through, like, if you spend even a few minutes a day working on whatever it is and you become obsessed with it, like, the results are valuable.
Exactly.
You have to do something.
Right. Digital products, you know, digital books, those are also free to make. And there are websites where you can actually sell them. You know, so I know a lot of people that are making money off digital products, and it could be one simple digital product that is, like you said, helping somebody, or, you know, I mean, because that's what people are looking for, to solve a problem. So if you have something that can help solve them a problem, like, why not utilize that, you know?
Well, and I think nowadays life is just so busy and moving so fast that more people are looking for ways that they can leverage the internet to give them back some of their time. And if you stay disciplined, I mean, if you have 10 hours a day to spend on this stuff, by all means, go ahead. But if you stay disciplined, you'd be surprised what you can accomplish in 15 minutes. Earlier in our conversation today, you said, you know, when it's time for me to write, I just freeze up and I can't do anything.
Yes, I get writer's block like that very easily.
I was working on a high level recruitment. I was going for a high level position, and I had hired a career coach to help me through it. And when I was writing my responses to the questions, I was like, I like, my brain is frozen. Like, I don't know. And she's like, you do know. And I'm like, she started listing out all the things on my resume. And I'm like, yeah, but how do I craft it into this resource?
Right.
And the best piece of advice, and this is what I'm going to pass on to you. She told me, she's like, and she's an author, an English professor at NYU. Like, she is one of the most intelligent people I've ever met. And she told me, she's like, set a timer for 15 minutes. And whatever is in your head is what you write. She's like, just 15 minutes. And I'm like, I told you, like, I have writer's block. She's like, just set a 15-minute timer, get out whatever you can get out. Don't worry about punctuation, spelling, does it flow? Just get your thoughts out. Set a timer, 15 minutes. When you hit go, then you go. When the timer goes off, you're done. I did that, and I probably, when the timer went off, I kept writing, and I ended up with like 4 pages.
Wow.
Like, it just did something where it was like, okay. So sometimes when I do get stuck, because not only do I have like our business to work on,
Right.
and like my own private businesses, but I also manage businesses for other clients.
Yes.
And so when I'm sitting there and I'm like, when the day feels overwhelming, I literally do a data dump of whatever's in my brain. I'm a list person. So I write my lists out of everything that needs to be done. And I'm like, 15 minutes. And I start setting timers, and I move like from one thing to another. And people will be like, how did
That's
you
how
get
I
that
am.
much work done
Yeah.
today?
That
And
I do. I have to write it down, like, because if I don't write it down, or if I don't put it on my schedule, I forget about it, or it's just it doesn't get done as quick as it does if I write it down. So
and I set my intention for the day too. You know, I start my day at like 5 a.m.
yeah, me too.
And I usually either go for a walk, I go for a jog, I work out at home because, you know, I have my little guy. And then I pray, I meditate, and like I set my intention for the day.
Yeah.
Like before I've ever even woken my son up, like I've already gone through this. And I know, and sometimes it doesn't go in that order, but all of that gets done
Right.
before I go into mom mode.
Right.
So that I know, okay, this is what I have to get done.
Right.
And some of us, like I've heard this before, you know, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
Yeah.
So I just start to move through what can be delegated to the rest of the team, what needs me. And my data dump is a big old jumble because it includes personal and business.
Yeah.
You know, and I think it's just really important to whatever it is. Some people work out at night, some people don't work out. Some like you have to figure out what works within your structure, but you got to keep moving.
Yeah, no, definitely. I do. I have to write my stuff down. I have to schedule. If I don't put in my schedule, it's even working out. I have to put working out, or it will get, I have to block that time off.
So that's why I have to do it first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
Because if I don't, as the day goes on and things start to pile on, and I like rushing, being late, like that gives me such high levels of stress and anxiety. Like it will throw everything off to me. Like I hate being rushed. I hate that feeling. I've learned to get a little bit better with like shifting. But literally it is like mass chaos inside and my brain starts to shut down. Like I can't.
That's one thing about me is like I'm always on time or I'm early because I literally am scheduling my time. And I do have friends that are always late, no matter what, no matter if they schedule it, and no matter if they're just always late. And I'm always like, it just helps me when I schedule things because I'm working out everything in my mind, like time wise, because I'm on such a tight schedule. And unfortunately, I keep my daughter on a schedule like that.
My son too.
It's like, we got to go to bed. You wake up. You got to do, like, everything is on a tight schedule.
So years ago, I'm talking like 15, 20 years ago, I did a very, very intense, emotional intelligence course. And it starts out with like navigating through your limiting beliefs and breaking through. And it was a very rigorous, very intense program. And what I will say, when we were going through that program, there was always a timekeeper assigned to every training that we did, to every, I went on to actually become a life coach in this program.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, but it was very intense. Like we would do coaches clear offs. Everybody had 1 minute. And if you were still talking at that 1 minute, it was like time. And you could be like full-fledged tears and it was like time, and it would move to the next person. And one of our lead trainers, she always used to say, we'd be like, it was only a minute when we would jump on a coaching call late, right? It was only a minute. She's like, what was more important? Act as if your life depended on it. Act as if you cared. Act as if you gave a shit. And that for me was when I learned like just 1 minute, like, how disrespectful is it that you didn't care enough about me for 1 minute?
Right.
And so that really, I think, well, probably created a bigger issue because ever since I did that, like time means a lot. And I built into my time, like, okay, no, act as if your life depended.
Yeah, no, I do. I literally, I respect people's time. And like I said, I try to utilize every bit of time possible. And try to get as much done because, I literally, if I'm not working or doing something, I feel like I'm just not being productive. And I hate that feeling.
I hate that too.
Yeah.
I don't watch TV. I've started to get a little bit better about like trying to like interact with like movies and mainstream media and stuff. But that I just feel like my life is wasting away in those moments. And I'm like, I think I just lost a few brain cells here.
I mean, even with social media, like, you know, when you're on social media, you start getting on there and you're like, fuck, I'm wasting all this time. Excuse my language, but I'm wasting this time. I just wasted like 15 minutes on somebody that I don't care about. So yeah, sometimes I have to like, you know, say, okay, no more social media, or all right, that's enough, because it not only that, but it's so much knowledge on social media.
And it can be overwhelming.
Yes, it can. And that's where I'm like, when I see something like, oh, you can make some extra money here, I'm like, oh, save that one. Oh, I'm going to come back to that one. But I'm constantly looking at social media and how, you know, how you could be more productive, or how you could be, you know, praying in this. So even that, though, is taking a lot of time.
So I feel like Rev Run. So did you ever watch Run's house?
Yes.
So remember, he was always like in the bathtub preaching, like, and that's usually how they wear hoods and stuff. Like, that's me now. Like, I will literally take the time when I'm in the tub, because I can't even turn my brain off long enough to like sit in the bathtub, because I'm like, did I just hear crashing? Did I hear this? Did I hear that? What is Connor doing? Are you in the kitchen? Are you in the pantry? Did you turn on the stove? Did you leave something open? Like, that's my brain, right? So now, when I'm in, that's when I will watch some of like the educational podcasts that I watch or listen to, depending on how it is. So yesterday when I was watching my podcast was when I was messaging you like, oh, look at this one, and oh, look at that one.
Yeah.
Because that's just the only way that I can make it through.
Right. So yeah, that definitely is important to limit that, and because it will definitely throw you off. I do. And then just having the phone around, like I tried to just cut the phone off, because it's just a huge distraction.
So back to the same thing, that that emotional intelligence course that I was telling you about, phones are not allowed in the trainees.
Oh, really? How long is the training?
Well, you have breaks. I mean, it's it's 100 days, but it's not, you can't have right when you're in a training room, phones are not allowed. So as coaches, you leave them in the back. As trainees, you are in, they don't come in. And like when a phone goes off, and I learned then, like, it really taught me the value of like giving people your attention.
Yeah.
And like I'm not perfect. I do a lot of business, and a lot of times like I will be on a business call or whatever else. But like when I am with my family, and when somebody has my heart, like you don't get to call me. Like, the phone doesn't ring. It is on vibrate. It is on do not disturb. The whole world could be crumbling down, but if somebody has my time and attention for that amount of time, that's what they get.
So you want to know something funny? Is recently I was at a park near my house at a birthday party, and I seen a bunch of Jewish people walking. And like, there wasn't anything really around here, but I'm seeing them walking. And I'm like, where are they going? Like, where are these people going? Like, I'm just seeing families, but they're all like walking somewhere. And I had to ask the lady, I'm like, where are these Jewish people walking to? And they're like, oh, it's no electronics. They don't use nothing on this specific day. They don't use their phone. They don't use a car. They don't use anything that has to do with electricity.
Wow.
Or, obviously cooking.
There are times where we are in the car and I'm like, Connor, turn the phone off. I'm talking to you. Like, yeah. I don't want to miss that connection.
I'm wondering, like, maybe what if we were to try that one day, where one day you're just about the family.
My household would die.
And you just don't use any electronics, and you go walking. Like, literally, I kind of almost want to try it just to see,
I think
what we could get done in a day without electronics.
You saw what happened when we were getting ready to record, and my son didn't have Wi-Fi. He's like walking, following you like a junkie. Like, I need Wi-Fi. I don't have good reception here. I need Wi-Fi.
But they look really happy. Like I said, I was actually pretty impressed.
Yeah,
that they do this.
You don't get that connection from electronics.
Right. And they do it once a week. If I could just do it once a week, girl. They do.
I thought it was like a year thing.
Once a week. They walk. They don't use the car.
That's amazing.
I'm like, but where are they walking? Are they walking to a restaurant? Are they, I mean, like, where are they going? Because I didn't, there was nothing around. So
Wow.
I thought it was very interesting.
That is really interesting. And I think that is cool. I don't know about once a week.
Yeah, no, I just want to try one day.
Even an hour.
Yeah, one day where we just have to just be ourselves and just, that's it. You know, no disruptions.
They did a study on like Dateline or ABC News, one of those years ago, probably like 5 years ago, 6 years ago. And they were on a college campus and they had a guy dressed like crazy on a unicycle just going around. Most people, and then they stopped people that were on their devices and were like, did you see that guy? And they were like, what guy? Like completely like crazy, oblivious.
Yeah.
But the kids noticed it.
Oh, okay.
The kids noticed it. And so, you know, again, it goes back to like, if you miss that opportunity to connect with somebody, I think the repercussion of that is far greater. Like, I think about like how many times maybe somebody that I care about was trying to get my attention and maybe all they needed was 1 minute.
Right. 1 minute. Yeah. So it definitely prioritizing your time is super important because it can be wasted very easily.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how much time do we have? Then? Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So we'll dive more into some of the other ideas that we're using in our business.
Yeah.
We'll give an update on our next episode because we've definitely made a lot of significant progress. Very excited.
Yes. So hopefully next time, but we will be on our next step, and you're going to be going on this adventure with us.
Yeah. Stay tuned.
Yes.
The next time on The Strategic Shift. Make sure you like and you follow and you subscribe to our channel on whatever medium you happen to be listening to us on.
Thank you, and God bless.